Welcome to the State Specific Show, where we weave across the country and the world to highlight local sneaker culture specific to those geographic areas. My name is Gabriel Fortson, and you can find me at Gabriel Fortson across all social platforms. So today we head to Philadelphia, the Illidef, and we welcome the multi-talented entrepreneur, community builder, sneakerhead, and creative Christina Faith to the show.
What it
So
do?
yeah. Thank you for joining the show. And, we want to make sure that you bless our audience with all this knowledge that you have about not only sneakers, but the whole sphere and realm of the culture. So let's just jump right into it and let's start from the beginning. So
It's so weird because I don't know what I know until you ask me.
yeah, that's cool though. I love that. I love that. But one of the things, the reason why you don't is because you're always thinking forward. Like you're always like
Yeah,
looking at what's next. So like I see how your mind works.
it does. It's quite weird. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, but yeah.
Nah, it's all good. So, what got you into sneakers and fashion, and like, how old were you when you figured out that, hey, I kind of like this stuff?
Man, I was probably when I figured out I liked it, I was probably in Imma say 2nd grade. I was probably in 2nd grade when I was like, this is cool. I did not grow up well, I grew up with means and I grew up without means at the same time. So I like to say like I'm from the hood, but I'm also from the suburbs because of how I was raised. And but also some of my family members were drug dealers. And so I was in 2nd grade when I realized what fashion was, what sneakers meant. And it's probably why I just am the way I am today, to be very honest. My brother came home. He bought everybody in the family brand new kicks, and he brought me none. He's like, "'Cause you too hard on sneakers." And so that was probably my introduction into how come y'all can have fresh new kicks and I can't. And I am notoriously, I'm getting better, but I am notoriously hard on clothing, on things. I'm very heavy handed in general. I just use my body. So it's gotten better over the years, but I used to be really hard on kicks.
Nah, but hey, you get your use out of it though, right? So that's the
Yeah, like, I used to play. I was a tomboy. I was in the streets. I was active in the streets all the time, and I
okay.
always wanted to wear the freshness in the streets.
No doubt, no doubt. So you grew up in Philly?
No, yes and no. So I'm from Jersey, but my family is from Philly, so I've been back and forth over the bridge all my life, right? The Philly saying is like, well, Jersey saying is Philly people don't like coming over the bridge, so Jersey people are always coming over the bridge. And so literally every weekend on Fridays, we head over the bridge. Like my mama partied in Philly. And so I've been in Philly all my life. I've moved to Philly in my adult years in 2008. I've lived in Philly probably in 3rd grade. I hookied more than ever in my life. Philly schools are like jails. Even the 3rd grade, I was like, nah, this ain't it. I had gone to like 8 schools, no, 7 schools by then. I was like, this is not it. This is not normal. But yeah, so I have an eclectic understanding of style because Philly and New Jersey are so close to New York. And so a lot of what I've experienced and Maryland and DC, right? Me and my husband always have the argument and conversation about Maryland, DC fashion. And, I used to be like, it's Bama-ish back in the day, but I don't say that anymore, you know?
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. So when it comes to sneakers, like I guess really with sneakers and the fashion part together, like what's more important, the sneaker or everything above? Like what do you think is most
I
important?
think it starts with the shoe, right? It starts with the shoe and then you dress up. I tend to dress down sometimes, like I'll find the shirt or the pants I want to wear. The sneaker is very important to me just in general. But clothing is important as well, especially as I've gotten older. Presentation is everything. And I think that there's been a revolution since 2020 and for us a little bit earlier, right? Because we were believers and I wasn't raised in the church, but as soon as I got in the church at 21, they try to change your fashion and your style.
Yeah.
And I lost my style for a long time, y'all. So my pictures, they don't I sacrificed my life unto the Lord. So I was wearing church clothes, AKA business casual a lot. And so I think probably me and my husband probably got back into sneakers heavy in 2019, 2018 after we purchased our house. That's around when we started to say, okay, we can kind of like dip back in. But before that, he was working at Puma, so we wore a lot of Pumas. But when I was younger, I had a nice collection. I was definitely a person who worked for my sneakers.
Okay. Okay. That's dope.
Yeah.
So, one of the cool things about you is that, yeah, you're a sneakerhead and, you understand the world of sneakers and that whole culture. But more than anything, you're creative, right? So, what got you into being a creative? Or actually, better question, when did you realize that you were creative? And were sneakers a gateway to that? Or was there something else that actually was an aha moment that, hey, I'm actually a creative?
I would say kindergarten. I don't think I was unintentionally being creative in kindergarten. I wrote my first song in kindergarten. It was really
Oh, wow.
bad. It was about a boy that didn't exist. But my brother was also getting into DJing at the same time. And so my brothers are 10 years older than me. And so when people are like, well, you wasn't there, I was like, actually, I was. Mainly because of my brothers. Like my brother had turntables. He had vinyl. And while he was over there, learning how to scratch. He's also a rapper. He's probably one of the coldest rappers we will never hear. I remember seeing his writings and stuff like that. So I was probably influenced by my brother Malik more than anything creatively. But then my mother also fostered whatever you want to do, go do it type thing.
Mhm,
But I didn't really embrace. And then wrote songs. So I was going to be an artist for a long time, and I wrote songs. And then in college, I think is when I started to really embrace being creative.
mhm.
My grandfather had a camera by the time I was in like the first grade. And so I knew video cameras existed, but you couldn't edit it type thing.
I got you.
But in college, I really embraced creativity in college. And over the years it just kind of like unraveled. And so I went from being a disc jockey and a radio host in college all 4 years. I had a radio show. I was the urban director at Rutgers University. And then when we were throwing parties, it was ridiculous, the stuff that we were doing creatively. I put out a mixtape, don't wanna talk about what the mixtape is about,
Hey,
and I
well, I
can
need to hear
it was
that.
well, not the rapping one, not the rapping one. Like, I did my intro song as a rapper, so I was a rapper for a good portion of my 20s, right? And
Okay.
so that's where I started to kinda, like, embrace my creativity through events, through plays and stuff like that, and then when I got saved, everything changed, but I learned that I could use creativity as a vehicle to reach people, but also to express myself.
Yeah.
And so I picked up a camera again when I was doing music 21. Well, I had a camera. Now I keep saying 25, but I had a video camera when I was in college. So I got a video camera when I was in college. I still haven't done anything with those tapes. Actually, I interviewed Joe Button. I had booked him for one of our concerts, the spring concert, that kind of thing. And yeah, so I would say I started going really heavy into creativity probably at 18, and I really decided I really like this is my life probably at 25, 24.
Wow. Okay. All right. No, that's cool. So you mentioned your husband. Like y'all put out some really, really super dope content on social media. So which one of y'all are the most fashionable? You
He is the
know.
most fashionable, not a
Okay.
question. My husband
Okay.
is the most fashionable. He is also the planner, and so my outfits are the day before, if you lucky, or the day of. I have promised this year I'm going to work on being able to just put it on instead of having to go figure it out.
Yeah.
But my husband, he'll plan his fashion, and he actually doesn't think he's fashionable, y'all. So you can't tell him it's not fashion. You can't tell him it's not fly, like because he's literally been doing it his entire life. And so yeah, he's definitely the most fashionable one. I'm probably the one that will be the most expressive though.
I got you. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So he's from the East Coast as well.
He's from Maryland, PG
Okay.
County. Yes, DMV. You can't tell him
D-
nothing.
All right. All right. DMV. So he's into the New Balance. Did he live that lifestyle?
He did live the New Balance lifestyle, but I think he lived the Nike Jordan lifestyle probably more.
Okay.
He's got a history in retail, Foot Locker, all kinds of different places. And so when I met him, his collection was crazy. He
Okay.
did, listen, ladies, he did sell his collection in order to move, but then also to get married. So, but he's always like, he's also a snob. He's like, I've been there, done that.
Gotcha. Got you. Now he's a photographer by trade.
Yeah, so he's a creative by trade. Yeah, I think it was kind of like we met each other through Facebook
Hmm.
because he was a photographer. And so he's always been into photography. Both of us are self-taught. We have not figured out how to create a combustible situation with us yet, but we've learned what works for us. And so yeah, he's a creative director and a photographer by trade. That's what he does.
Okay. Okay. That's dope. So let's talk grindhouse.co.
Yes.
Tell us what it is, why did you create it, and just all the details about grindhouse.co. And I just want to make sure that all our listeners understand what that is, and then we're going to talk about how we can help later.
Yeah, so the Grindhouse.co is a full service production company and agency. It was originally called Creative Thought Media, but in 2022, we decided to rebrand and kind of build a little different. It's the same thing we've always been doing. Creative Thought Media was founded by me and my husband in 2012. Before that, it was Collab Design Group with a young lady named Darielle, me and her we started going really hard in creativity around 2008 together. And so it's an amalgamation of all the ways that I've been trying since 2004 to create a company that really is profitable but also community and cultural based. What we like to say is we're a one-stop shop end-to-end production company and agency. You don't have to go to another agency if you work with us. We could do your marketing, your comms, your production, your development. We not only do, I'll say, we work with companies like the African American Museum, we work with Anscape, ESPN. It really can all depend on who we're working with. We do create original content, but we also do production services. And so it's been a joy to build. I'm a person who built from the ground up. It's not the typical way to build. Oftentimes, if you're a director or you're a producer, you kind of like go into the Hollywood system. And I just have always wanted to figure out like how do I bring the Hollywood system to me?
Yeah.
And so my husband is extremely supportive. And so we've been on this road for a long time, probably for the last 3 years. We've been 100% self employed and employing other people.
Okay. No, that's dope. Yeah. So you got a pretty sizable staff there. And then also you have a pretty large facility there. Like you have an actual brick and mortar that
Yeah.
you utilize to not only house your business, but also to create, productions and also connect with the community. So tell us a little bit about like the importance of having that space.
Man, it's a blessing to have. So we've had a brick and mortar as a studio through a collaboration that we did with a school that I was the executive director with, as well as helped launch, called Vocasio Career Prep High School, where we teach trades to students. And media was one of the trades we taught them for years. Actually, three of the our students are now our employees.
Okay.
And so we had one, but we never had a space where we could really hold events. We never had a space where we can invite other people in. It was good for shooting and things like that, but it really wasn't good for being able to have people. And so we wanted to create something where, people could feel safe, people could party. If they want to have a party, we can hold panels. And so it's been really important for us with this 14,000 square foot space to create a content space where people can create at any time. You guys will be getting podcasts and stuff for us now because we have a place that we can just go press record now. One of the things that's really important for us is not just to make other people's content anymore, but to make our own content now. And we started off making our own content. And, along the way, we kind of got off track of making what we really want to do personally. We also have a kitchen. We'll have a fully serviced content kitchen as well as a catering kitchen. Hopefully, within the next 3 months, it'll be done. We have about 10,000 square feet dedicated to events. And so, any kind of event you want to throw, you can have it here in Philadelphia at our space. If you want to do a live comedy show, you could do that there. And so we have a terrace. It really is a wonderful space that we really have been blessed to be able to receive and to be able to steward for the time that we'll have it. And so we're excited to see, what will come of this space.
Yeah.
Everybody always complains we don't have a space, we don't have a space, and now we're normally like, well, we do now, which I want to do. And so we've been really open with people being able to use it because we really want to program things that people want to come to and that they need. So next year you'll see a lot more cultural program, educational programming for us as well. And also, most likely, I'm trying to convince my husband. We're all trying to convince him to teach a little bit more
Okay.
as far as being photographer because his knowledge is crazy when it comes to those things. And we really have an amazing team around us that everyone is a teacher in some way. And everyone is self taught. Nobody went to school for what they're doing. So that's just a testament to everyone's dedication and just God's grace.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I've been following that, and the growth that you've had over even in like the last 8 to
It's
10
been crazy.
months.
I
Yeah,
ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. It's even stepping into this space is I left the school in 2022. Next thing you know, I was at the griot. That skyrocketed me because they gave me with open arms, gave me an entire company, not a company, but entire division to run for real, for real. And then when that ended, I was already had the mindset of you've done it for these people, you really can do it for yourself. And it's worked so far. And we're really hoping that 2026 really does catapult us in a way that we've never seen before.
absolutely. I know that
It's
it
a lot
will.
though, I ain't gonna lie, it's a lot.
Yeah, I know that it will. So I know one big thing for me, and the thing that's really important, even like how I move in the sneaker culture, is the community and people. And it looks like the things that you guys are doing and growing and building there is modeled strictly around the community. Like, why is that important to you? Why is, you have all these resources and things that you could take in a totally different way and, you know, and try to make it more exclusive, but you have intentionally tried to make this something that your community can benefit from. Like, why is that important to you?
I think because of how I move and how I talk, I think people think I come from a different background than I actually come from. My mother believed in education, y'all. I went to 13 different schools by the time I was in ninth grade. I did not come from means. Nobody ever paid my way. I thank God for the family members that were able to assist me, but nobody ever gave me nothing. And so I think a lot of what you see is me trying to be what I wish I would have had, right? I try to really, and me and my husband both, we both have the same mindset. We try to lead with an open hand, and we try to be what people were not for us. I can tell you I've still never been on nobody's set. I still have not. Like, I even tried to do shadowing and stuff like that, and after a while, I was kinda like, "I'm wasting my time," like, chasing to try to do something when I could just be building it myself and opening the door for other people. I'm not gonna lie that building the community that we have has come with a lot of heartache, to be very honest. Everybody does not have the same desire to build the way that we're building, but it's really important to me that kids, that adults, right, can see something that they've never seen before. And it's easy to build it and keep it closed off, but that doesn't change the people around you. Like, I still live in a community that I've been living in for a long time in Philly. My community doesn't necessarily know what I do, but they know that we have an impact, right? And so I think impact is really important, and I think that it's not enough just to give people resources. You got to teach people how to fish. And so we just brought another young man on. He don't know nothing, right? But we're teaching him that he actually does have gifts that he just hasn't have tapped. That nobody has taught him how to use it. And
Right.
so we've been doing that for years where, people just have a desire. And so people work with us because if you wanna learn how to fly, we're gonna teach you how to fly type thing. And so that's just really important, and it's just important for us to be ourselves. Like, at the end of the day, I love culture, like, I love it. I remember when I was in college, this guy walked in my room, one of my homeboys, he came to pick up something, and he looked at my wall and my books and stuff. He was like, "Oh, future mobile in the making." And
Yeah.
I didn't even know what the word meant, right? But he saw something, I looked up the word, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But I've always been involved in culture. I was the kid that had subscriptions to Word Up. I was the kid that had subscriptions to Columbia. I was the kid that, my grandmother, if we didn't have cable, would tape every single award show or anything like that so I can come home and watch it on the weekend. Like, I'm a student of the culture in a way that I think a lot of times people become a student of the culture and they just want to emulate it. No, I wanted to create it. And so, we just want to create culture wherever we're at. And really be authentic in it versus, just making something because we can make a couple dollars. Money come, money go, but what you do
Right.
for people lasts forever.
Forever. That's right. Those lives that you impact, that's changes generations, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. Just planting that one seed can change a whole generation. So I applaud you for that, you know. And I know that's one of the things that I recognized immediately when I first met you as well. And I told you at one point that, you have a brilliant mind. You're like, what are you talking about? And it's like, it's, and I say it with all seriousness. Like, it is the way that you think and the way that you approach things, not only the critical thinking and the tactics and the strategy and all that kind of stuff, but like you just said, you're not looking at what exists, you're looking at what can be and what does it take to like get there, right? So
Yeah.
I just think that's awesome. That's like the ultimate as far as being a creative.
Yeah, I think especially in our current culture is we're all looking for what already exists. I think that is the worst thing that we can honestly do right now, especially as times are changing. We have to figure out what doesn't exist and make that. When you think about Microsoft and you think about Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, or you think about some of these other founders, they were just looking to create something that didn't exist, right? And so I think for us, I remember my husband used to show me this collective of people all the time, and they were doing the things that we all would imagine we would do. And they've become a staple for us of, like, if you could think it, like, you could try it. I think it's a little harder as you get older because, people got bills to
That's
pay.
right.
And so you gotta figure out how to that's also been the thing, like, us the really reason why we're, like, figuring this out now is because years ago, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, we could all take off on the weekend and film a series and stuff like that. It becomes a lot harder as you get older and more responsibilities and people start to have kids. And so, just figuring out how to tap into the community has been really important, and figuring out just how to duplicate yourself versus, you just being the main person. And so It's been really excited, and the secret community has really embraced me in a way that I'm really thankful for. It's hilarious, and I enjoy it. Yeah.
Nah, you are an integral part of the sneaker community for sure. And, one of the things that I learned when I was getting my MBA, we were at the Atlanta Tech Center or something like that. And I was talking to the guy who started it. And I forgot what question I asked him, but that was his response to me is that, well, I think I asked him something about like, well, how do you come up with your next idea? And he was saying that you have to create something that someone's going to need 5 years from now
Yeah.
that they don't know that they need.
They don't know it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that you have that mindset organically to me once again proves my point that you're brilliant.
I think I it's not even that I'm brilliant. I'm over here trying to build it, and so I don't see it. I think that's really what a lot of it came from.
Yeah,
Like, I think there are some models that really do exist, but, life isn't about being with people vertically, it's about being with people horizontal. And so
absolutely.
if the people who are next to me don't have it, we gotta figure out how we can build it. And so I'm also not one to complain about what somebody else is doing for somebody and they ain't did this for me.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna step in and try to figure out, like, what's my lane and how can I assist in that area versus what people ain't did for me. I don't even think that's not even, sometimes people be talking. I can't even process what some people are saying, to be very honest, because I never look at it like that. I don't look at like what somebody didn't do for me. I look at what has God given me the ability to do for myself and to do for others. It's like, versus I don't even understand. Like, it just don't make sense to me.
No, I can dig it. I can dig it for sure. And to kind of take that even further, you've been working with some local representatives there in Philadelphia on a House bill. And I want you to talk about that House bill and why is it important, if you
Man,
can.
the c the Creative Enhancement Tax Act, uh, bill number 1775 in Pennsylvania. So first of all, I didn't write a bill. I never knew how bill process worked. I just got on the panel and said, "Hey, in my industry, we have to move in order to succeed." And the councilman Isaiah Thomas said, "I don't like that." He said, "Let me take you to lunch, pretty much. Tell me more about it." And I told he asked me how to fix it, and I said, "We got to change the film tax credit. Like, that's the only way in order to become competitive. And you're from Georgia. You've seen how it has completely transformed Georgia. A lot of people have said that, it's music that's done it. At the end of the day, it's really the film tax credit that has done it, right?
Absolutely.
It's given Georgia a hub of people to consistently come, right? And what a lot of people don't realize is that Hollywood wasn't originally in California. Hollywood was originally on the East Coast. And so with tax credits and things like that, things can move and shift. Nothing has to stay where it's at. And so I partnered with State Representative Andre D. Carroll, and they said, "Well, tell me what you want to do." And so we wrote a bill about how we could potentially become a competitive state, knowing that New Jersey is next to us, which is to me has besides Texas has the most competitive film tax credit right now, and how we could piggyback off of that in order to make Pennsylvania another hub alongside of New York and New Jersey.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and so, yeah, what it does is it'll increase our tax credit from 100 million to 400 million, and then we'll start our tax credit at 35%. And it's a few other things like anybody who is a creative, whether you're a streamer or own a digital media company, if you make up to $150,000 per year, you would be eligible for a tax credit on your Pennsylvania taxes.
Wow.
And so that was really out of a need to figure out like how do I change where I'm at versus moving someplace else
Yeah.
because the cost of living, number 1, is crazy, right? My mortgage, I'm not getting this mortgage nowhere else except for another country at this point. And so, but also we wanna leave where we're at better than when we came.
No doubt. No doubt. And I'm glad you touched on the point of why creatives need to understand why your initiative is important is because there are not only financial benefits to individual people as they grow their businesses as a creative, but it also, once you get a number of creatives together, then you're able to do more stuff when people succeed in like a localized area. So there's a lot of benefit to that that people may not necessarily like look at when they're just looking at, oh, this is, politics or, some legislative type stuff. Well, those things are important. And also it's a local bill, right? That will impact people locally. It's not just this, national thing that people talk about every 4 years.
And I think what people don't realize is that politics shapes everything around us. It shapes the water, it shapes the electric, it shapes the air you breathe, it shapes your children's schools. It literally shapes everything around us. And I think one of the, back in the day, they said, you want to keep something from a black person, put it in a book.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if you want to keep something from a black person, put it in a bill,
Yeah.
right? And so I think we've run from politics a lot. And my mother used to get on me all the time, like when I didn't know what was going on. And she's like, you need to know what's going on. And so now that I know what's going on, I'm trying to be as active and involved as possible. We have some more initiatives that we're working on, some mentorship type things that we're going to be doing starting in 2026. You have to be involved in your local. Even if you're not involved, you need to vote. Number one, you need to vote on the state, local, and federal, nationwide. Right?
Right.
We
Right.
need to vote. Like at the end of the day, we just had some local votes. Our entire court system in Pennsylvania was up for grabs, right? And the amount of people that come out for that vote is just too low for me. People are excited. It was a blue wave, great. But at any moment, if somebody knows how to press the button on some type of form of media to get people's attention, all of that can go away, just like it just went away, right?
Yeah.
They use media, they use content to do that. Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. I don't know if you saw the Kanye documentary that they're renting or selling. I watched that, and in that is literally Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk courting Kanye.
Really?
Like, one of the things that I've learned is if you wanna affect people, you gotta affect entertainment, you gotta affect politicians, period. These are the people, and athletes, yes, but not as much as before. I don't think athletes know, or they wanna use their power like they used to on old, like, the Muhammad Alis and the Joe Browns used to use their power. But if you wanna affect change, you gotta be in certain industries and arenas. And so, yeah, I never honestly thought about it, to be very honest. I just thought about how do we fix it? And so that's how we kinda, like, landed in that pile.
Okay. No, that's dope. Man. Like you said, voting is critical. A lot of
It is.
people they feel like, yeah, my one vote doesn't matter, but your one vote matters a lot. And
It literally can decide an election.
absolutely, absolutely. And your non-vote is a vote for the other thing that you
It
don't
is.
believe in.
It is.
Indifference is one thing that has created a lot of negative things in life. So
Yeah.
we gotta be passionate about certain things and knowledgeable about things that we're voting for, but at the same time we have to physically go and
Mhm.
step into that booth.
Okay. Yeah, I think, yeah, yeah. Everybody's like, "Oh, politics and religion should be separate." I don't understand how. And those are
Yeah.
the things those that's how you govern your life. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Life is holistic, and you know a voteless people is a hopeless people.
that's a fact.
Yeah, yeah. So recently here, and by the time this thing airs, you would
Lord
have
willing.
already put it out, and it won't be like something that we're spilling the beans
Yeah,
on. But
it's supposed to go out. Imma say it's gonna go out Wednesday at this point. I won't do it, but go ahead. I'll let you, and I'll
okay,
explain what I won't do again.
but you have my favorite pickups of 2025, the
Yeah.
anti sneaker of the year panel, right? So, like, what prompted you to formulate the whole thing around an anti sneaker of the year panel?
Let me first say I do enjoy the sneaker of the year conversation. Let me say that. But I think that it falls on deaf ears because it's rage baiting at the end of the day. I don't like the fact that we only celebrate 10 sneakers or one sneaker, right? When, especially if you're in our culture, in our community, depending on how deep you are, you might have purchased 5 sneakers a year, some people 50, 100, right? And so I wanted to celebrate the sneakers that people aren't talking about. Like, tell
Mhm.
me about your favorite pickups, not what you hit on that's the hype pickup, but what did you hit on that's your favorite pickup? Like, when you got it, the joy was there for you. And so, yeah, I just wanted to celebrate other brands, not just, 1 or 2 brands. I enjoy the 1 or 2 brands, but I also wanna see what do I wanna reach back on? And that's
Okay.
almost impossible to do when you're only looking at 10 sneakers. Like, there's
Right.
over 400 sneaker releases in a year. So, what was your favorite of the 400 sneakers that came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really where that came from. Last year, my husband, we did a layout. It was very hard for me to pick 10 sneakers. I was like, I just can't pick 10. And so he was like, all right, just give me your favorites. And so we did a layout of our favorite sneakers of the year, and it did really well, and it sparked conversation. And so I decided, let's try to make this into a panel. It was very last minute, guys, very last minute. I started talking about it at Complex Con and on that Unheard of weekend, and I didn't really start planning until the week of. So, one of the things I won't do is I never will record 3rd week of December again. We need to do it in the 1st week of December because just everybody our team, when the holidays hit, everybody was like, "I don't
Yeah,
wanna do no more work."
right.
And so we're trying to get that edit out now. I'm like, "Ah, we're gonna burn it," but people are still gonna watch it.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, I think it was a really good conversation. We're hearing from people that are in the space that are really, that influence me, to be very honest, like, everybody that, you guys will see on the list. We have a lot of people who did the panel in person, but we also have a few people that didn't get announced that will be in the edit as well. And these are people that I look to for sneaker inspiration and to see what's coming out. And so yeah, I think it was a fun time, it was a vibe, and just to hear people's stories, how they process what they purchased and things like that.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I think it's awesome, and you're right. There are so many sneakers that just don't even get spoken of on some of these more popular panels, right? And someone asked me, "Well, what's your top 10?" And I was like, I'm not doing a top 10 because first off, I don't
I ain't
remember
got it.
all the sneakers that came out this year.
Yeah.
And, I do think that I have like one that if I had to say, hey, what is the sneaker of the year? I would probably 99.9% of the time say that one sneaker, and it's the one that was pretty much on everybody's list. But I took this little poll that Soul Play did, and it when I finished the poll, it wasn't that shoe. Like it was a totally different shoe that was number one on my list. It was the 85 bread. And
Yeah.
and a lot of people feel like,
We forgot about
well,
that one.
yeah, right?
Everybody forgot about I still haven't wore mine. Imma get it off in a week or 2.
Yeah,
When I get back
you
from
gotta get
Mexico,
that
Imma
off.
get it off.
No doubt, you got to,
Yeah, but
and
we
it's
for that was
actually
February. We forgot about that.
February, yeah, and that shoe is comfortable, man, like,
Yeah.
it's really good, it's a good shoe, and the leather on it, like, once you kinda get that leather worn in, yeah, yeah, it's a perfect shoe. That shoe, a lot of people feel like a retro can't be the sneaker of the year, and, like, for me, I don't put up all those parameters, right? I put up, for me, a shoe has to be accessible, which that shoe was limited, so for some people that
Limited.
it may not
I ain't gonna
qualify.
front. It was limited. I had to
Yeah.
make a call.
Yeah. Your
A big
Rolodex
call
is deep.
today.
Your Rolodex is deep.
It's really not. It's really not. I'm learning to ask.
Yeah, 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 I'm learning that from you. You teaching me.
Listen, we're gonna learn together.
So the brick by brick is probably predominantly the shoe that said a lot, but I just think that their campaign and the rollout and all the things that they did
Great
around that
rollout.
shoe, they did a really great job with it.
There were other great rollouts.
Yeah, yeah,
Undefeated was flying. They're not even on people's list.
yeah,
Undefeated had a helicopter rollout.
yeah.
I think everybody just Nike number 1. Nike and Adidas rollouts this year were just they are all back in competition, and I think that's what made 2025 such a great year, and I think the next couple years, we're probably gonna see even more, competition amongst the brands
Hmm.
because dollars are gonna be shorter for people, and so they really have to get attention, and so, yeah, I think there were just so many great releases, like, not just the shoe, but the story, but the marketing, the
Hmm.
experience, if you had the opportunity to be a part of it, and so, yeah, I think it was just I think there's so much more to it, but oftentimes the ones that end up on the top 10 are the ones that spend the most money on marketing, to be very honest, and so but there are other sneakers that came out that didn't have as many marketing dollars, but were great too.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, and as far as like shoes that don't get talked about a lot, I
Yeah.
know this Jordan Steel 10 with the toe cap. Like for me, that's like top of my list.
That was the top of my list because 1994 Christmas when that thing came out, it really came out in '93, but everybody started getting it Christmas. And my cousin walked in the room with that shoe and showed us the back of it, the bottom of it,
Yeah,
and I realized I couldn't get that shoe. I didn't care. I think it was 2 releases on that day. I said, "I don't care what other thing is coming out that day.
yeah.
If this shoe is not in my house, Imma be upset." So that was definitely, a shoe that I really needed, to have this year.
Yeah, yeah, that shoe was important to me because I bought it in November. It was that November that I bought it,
Mhm.
and I bought it out of East Bay, and I never even realized that they like had a recall on it and took the toe cap off of it. Like I was so like into the sneaker that I had that I didn't even
Yeah, I was
realize
about
it.
to say,
Right?
I did when everybody was talking about toe cap, I was like, "Yeah, no, I wasn't that deep in, y'all."
Yeah, yeah. So I think I started about 10 years. I started it in 2016, like on IG, just kind of pinging
Yeah.
Jumpman saying, "Hey, listen, we got to bring the toe cap back. We got to bring the toe cap back." So when they finally, announced the fact that they were going to bring it back, I was super happy. And, I bought multiple pairs because I don't think that they would probably ever do it again, or at least not anytime soon. So I wanted to make sure I had pairs to be able to kind of withstand the next 30 years or 40 years or whatever. But I just think it's a really great shoe.
Yeah,
That sole, like you said, it's the best sole of a sneaker that's ever been made.
ever been made.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that was genius when they made that. And
yeah,
so, yeah, I think yeah, there was a lot there my list is crazy, to be very honest. Like, even the New Balance Ruckus, that wasn't even on my list
yeah.
until I saw it, and I was like, "Oh gosh." And so, for me, oftentimes, like, people say sneaker Twitter is dead and all that kinda stuff. I'm like, "No, it's not, cause or YouTube is dead." It's like, "No, it's not, because before I buy a shoe, I'm literally looking to see who had it, not necessarily to see the shoe. I need to see it on your foot for me
Yep,
sometimes to say yes to it." And
yep,
so there's so many different sneakers this year that I really enjoy. The jellyfish is probably one of my favorite. I know it's the hype, but when I put it on, for example, I have a chunky pan on today. There's just not a lot of sneakers that I own that I can put on a chunky pan with.
yeah.
And so those sneakers really hit a mark for me that I was missing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still a little bit sour that I don't have that one.
Peace out.
But from what we were told,
Hey, I'm fine. Honestly, I don't want the orange or the blue pair now. I don't need to have a million of them. I don't want to Kanye it.
yeah, yeah. I just want one. Like, I just need one pair.
Let me just get one.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
one mic.
Exactly, right? Yeah. I heard it's just a dope sneaker, it's just the quality and everything on it, so
Yeah.
no doubt. So what upcoming initiatives do you have? Like, what do you have that you got planned for 2026?
2026, prayerfully, so we have a documentary coming out in 2026, called Wrestle With Us with Anscape ESPN. So that's gonna be really exciting. I think that'll come out probably in April, June. We have a few movies that we'll be working on. We're working on something called the Peace Labs in partnership with the Witness. We'll bring kids in. I believe we said 7th grade to 21 years old, and we'll teach them how to make documentaries and stuff like that. What else do we have? We have it's a lot. It's so much, and I'm like, what can I say? The Thrift Project will be back. I don't know if you know about the Thrift Project, but Lord willing, our partnership will go through, and we'll do a 6 city tour. Where we'll go to Atlanta, Chicago, LA, New York, Houston, and Philadelphia.
Wow.
And then 2026 is really big for Philly, and so it's gonna be crazy in Philly in 2026. So we're also trying not to we're definitely gonna overdo it on our schedule, but we're trying not to fully overdo it on our schedule. And so we'll see. It's a lot coming. I also want to do some things with the sneaker community, and hopefully we can do some activations for some brands for 2026. Really excited about the Jordan brand store being in Philly. Philly is also a runner city, and so, yeah, we just want to turn Philly up a little bit in 2026 and beyond, and give, New York and a few others a run for their money.
Absolutely. No doubt. No doubt. So with some of that stuff, like how can we help? Like, is there anything that anybody can be doing personally to assist or help outside of just a normal support
Yeah,
on
I would say
social
just
media?
share. Yeah, I would say share. I think a lot of people recently, I was like looking at something like people who like some stuff recently. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know these people was following me. I don't
Yeah.
know how like it gets lost and stuff, but like feel free to DM me. I'm a DMer, y'all. I'm not a scroller, but I am a DMer. And so, yeah, I think just sharing things as we get it out. You can go to the grindhouse.co and sign up for the newsletter. We'll be sharing more stuff on our newsletter and things like that. But yeah, I think just sharing. Also, any ideas you have, let me know. I'm definitely open to ideas. I always say, I learned this year. People always say what they want to do, but when you give them the opportunity, they don't necessarily do it. And so I'm looking forward to executing some ideas with people if you have some ideas. Yeah.
Okay. That's dope. And like for you personally, as far as like sneaker type stuff, like are you looking forward to anything specifically for 2026?
I haven't really looked at the list yet. I haven't looked at the list yet. I'm currently in my reach back era to see kind of like what didn't I get? Right now, I'm looking at it's only because it's Nick's colors, I didn't get it, but now I want it. The Madison Square Garden Kiths, that's on
New
my reach
Balance.
back
Yep.
list. What else? It's a couple other things. My Undefeated Olives will be coming in. They come in tomorrow. I won't be able to see them until I get back.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at the 2026 list fully. There are a couple Jordans that I was like, "Oh, these are must-haves." And so, yeah, I'm kinda like, as it unfolds, I try not to look ahead. Like, I don't wanna know everything that's coming. I just
Right.
need to know a couple weeks in advance so I can figure out my plan.
No doubt. No doubt. And like what events? Like you got anything scheduled to like to get
We'll
to for
def
2026?
Yeah, man, we'll definitely be at Complex Con, All-Star Weekend. I'll probably go out to LA for the Grammys.
Wow.
I'll probably make it out to Cincinnati, of course. I need to make it out to Atlanta. Haven't made it out to Atlanta, like, just for an event. I normally just come for work. I'm in and out.
Yep.
What else? Unrivaled in Philly. That's happening the last weekend in January. But we have FIFA World Cup All-Star MLB
Yeah.
All-Star Game. We've
Yeah.
got NCAA championship and tournaments will be here as well. And so, yeah, I don't know where the world's going to take us, but we're going to go somewhere.
Right. Right. You're gonna be outside. I already know.
I don't want to, y'all. I don't necessarily like outside, but it's beneficial to be outside.
Yeah, you gotta be. Like, that's why I tell people all the time is that you have to be present in order to like make a difference and really to
Yeah,
have
people gotta see your
credibility.
face.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta
People
be
must
out.
see your face, and I'd be like, "I don't want them to see it." But, and you need to see people's face so you stop calling their Instagram name.
Right. Absolutely. No, I agree 100%. And being outside is how we met, right? So like,
It is.
yeah, yeah. So very thankful for that. Very, very great friendship that we're building here, and I appreciate it because I
Yeah,
think
man,
that
Gabe is dope. I was like, "Who is this man?" This man, I was like, "Nah, that's Gabe, he cool." I was like, "Alright, cool." I was like, "Alright, listen, you ever need good dinner? Gabe will make sure you eat."
listen, yeah, one thing I'm gonna spend money on is sneakers and food.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah,
Same.
yeah, without a doubt. So tell people where they can find you.
You can find me at Christina Faith all across most platforms and the Grindhouse Inc.
All right. Very good.
Thank you for
So,
having me, Gabe.
oh yeah, thank you so much for taking the time, and you blessed the show, and we're looking forward to supporting you in 2026.
Let's go, gang, gang.